Good afternoon. Good to see you guys. Hi, Pastor Jack. Those of you that are on Facebook, good to see y'all today. We're at the final Rush Week day where we're talking and chatting about the different courses and classes we offer you at the ReFresh Institute. I'm so excited to be able to connect with y'all on Christopher. Oh wow, awesome. I've been super excited about you guys and chatting with you all about what we have to offer you here at Fresh Institute. And it's good to see y'all on IG. Let me know if you can on YouTube. Let me know if you guys go around all the way from y'all. It's good to be able to connect with y'all. Good to be Christopher from Charlotte. Yep, 3 is making a premiere later on this week. Super excited about that. Hey Kim, thank you so much for in the week. But we are so excited about this conversation today. For those of you that are on IG, I have Tamia here with me, and we're gonna share what Tamia does when it comes down to the ReFresh Institute. And for those of you on YouTube and Facebook, inviting her on in just I wanted to just stop by and let you is here to keep you inspired, constantly refresh you in your purpose, constantly going and flowing in your purpose. And so because over the last few days we've been talking about all the courses from the Worship Arts Academy. We're going to dive in a little bit more today with the Creative Arts Academy as well, tapping into creativity, drawing. And so one of the things about it is that we dive right on into getting your creative juices flowing. You learn about the very components of drawing and grow as say and share. No expression should be muzzled at all whatsoever, especially assignment in the kingdom. Not expression should be muzzled. And so we want to empower and tap every expression. Go on, every single expression when it comes to just whatever God in this day and hour to just getting the message of his kingdom right on across. I'm hearing on YouTube that I am up and that on freezing, or am I good on there? I'm good. Okay, cool. So we're gonna just dive right on in. I'm not gonna delay any bit longer on YouTube and Facebook. I want to welcome to the
Hey guys.
Prophetess Denise, good to see you guys. On, I have here. She is our instructor of drawing here at Institute. And let me tell you how this all came about. First and foremost, how it all came about is that we started engaging in prophetic work, having a lot of painters would get messages and visions from the Lord in worship, and they needed a place to get message out. Mia, when you joined us at our 2019 summit, you kind of had experience where you were seeing stuff and was doing it, so you were just sketching in the midst of stuff like that. And so what we want to do is those that have that creative gift and doing all types of things, we want to empower concerning. Yes, hey Miss, see you, Arnetta, good to see you, and Mr. Tim, see you as well. And those of you hopping on the again, now one expression should be muzzled when it comes down to getting God's message across. So before we dive into your course, let's talk about your history with drawing, sketching. I know your face as well, but yeah, about who you are, your history in this area of art, and all of the above.
Okay. So hi guys, my name is Tamia Polk. As she said, I've been drawing since I want to say since maybe I was 12. I might have did a little bit before that, but I know for sure it's been since I was 12, and I am 25 now. So it's been 13 years that I've been drawing. I've always been to art into art. I was always like drawing pictures and making things and stuff like that when I was growing up. I used to have a binder of like cartoon characters that I drew, and I would just like add to that binder. Like every day after school, I would just come home. I would find a picture like, who did I want to draw today, and I would just add that to my binder and then flip through it, and then I saw like the progress that I made when I was drawing so much. Um, and I was able to do it just from looking at a picture. Like I can look at it, draw it, and then it just be like that. So I've always been into art. I've always been drawing. I've always had like the drawing kits, the drawing sets. Um, I always stole the computer paper from the printer so I could draw on it. Like
Right.
that was me. So I've always been drawing. I would doodle in class, in school sometimes, and not even as a distraction, but because it actually helped keep me focused.
Learning. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I still do it to this day. Yeah.
One of the things I want to let parents know really quick, all of our courses, we have them available for our youth and our adults, especially on the creative arts side. There are some adults, my kids just doing everything else but what they be doing, to drawing and creating things. And I want to let you know that it is such an asset. Some kids, especially in their learning, learners, it's such a massive asset to them. And also too, if they need energy or if they need to be able to understand their notes, take notes. I'm doodling lines and squares and the above just to help me to understand it. And one of the things, this art, it's not always necessarily about the biblical study was really big, especially when it was down to drawing and stuff like that. And so being able to sharpen those skills will allow you, not yourself, but anybody else that may be struggling in trying to receive something they need to know. So I know to a lot. Am I still breaking up?
On Facebook, yeah.
Am I? Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fix that. But I do this a lot. I do this well, I know you do this a lot. Like sometimes I'll be in worship and I know you get your iPad and get to go and share a little bit about your being able to interpret vision and put it on paper.
So yes, I really started doing that in particular, like you said, at the ReFresh Summit in 2019. There was this image that I saw while I was there. It was a vision that I saw, and it was God holding his hand out to me, and like drawing me closer to him. And so in that, I was like, I gotta write this down. But you can't just like, it was one thing to like write the words, but I'm like, I can't just write these words. I have to draw it. And so I drew that image, and that was the beginning of me like drawing what I saw and what God was showing me. And so I've kind of been doing it ever since then. If I'm in worship and I have like there's a vision that I see, I will write the words, so to speak, but I also will draw what I see, whether it's on my iPad and my journal. I will draw it because when I see that image, there's more of a connection with it, if that makes sense. There's more of a connection if I draw it versus like the words that I have. Like sometimes you can't even describe it with words. And so the only way to get it out is to draw it. Now, it might not be perfect in that moment, but that's okay because you know what you meant, what you see, how you felt, what God was saying in that moment.
Yeah. One of the things I know is that whenever we're engaging in worship, I typically tell everybody, hey, get your journals out, write what you hear the Lord. If you have because sometimes it's so very what God is unlocking in a moment, in words, like you just said. I know for me, on making the atmosphere conducive and open enough so that the artists can begin to draw. Our speakers gathering, who were talking about having some canvases and people just drawing out what they see and saw, and just really tap into that. The biggest things that I want to do, but one of the things that we want to do in the institute is definitely that skill, and here is why. The Bible says that we worship God, we praise God in Psalms now, and our worship now is even for a generation that's not yet born. I believe that's raising up artists in the archive what he is saying for a generation that's not yet born. And it is a way of art. It comes by way not just of books, not just of podcasts and videos and all the above. It comes by way also too of level of art. Need to tap into being able to unlock and archive God's heart, even through drawing, so that even a generation not yet born can understand the mysteries, the revelations, and the truth of God in it through it. So I believe it's so important to sharpen this skill in drawing, which is why we offer it to. We offer it to sharpen it, not to decreases or sharpen of the seer. If you hear, this sharpens your ability to be able to articulate for others. Now you may have, the scripture says we prophesy in part, and we do all these different things in part, but somebody else may have the interpretation. And so can you share with me? We have this experience a lot, because to me is around me whole lot, where didn't know what it meant, and then the Lord will begin to share, or we'll begin to talk about it, and you'll share it. And so can you share with me how being an artist of this caliber, even because you do it as a hobby, it's not even like you do it as a profession, you do it more so as a hobby, but how of the revelation that God has been releasing in the earth for such a time as this. Can you share that with everybody?
Sure. So for me, being able to see what God is saying helps me a lot overall, because I'm a visual person, right? So when I see it, I understand it better, and I'm like, oh, I get what you're saying, Lord. Oh, why don't you just say that kind of thing? And so that's been helpful overall. But also, I think there was a time where I think we had went to breakfast or something, and we were sitting at the table, and I was telling you what I had saw during worship, and I was like, I saw this, but can you tell me, help me out a little bit? So I described the image to you and stuff like that. And I think we ended up having a conversation about what every different piece meant. And I ended up getting revelation just from that conversation. So that's just an example of how, one person might see it, but someone else might give the interpretation or the revelation behind it. And that happens to me a lot. It's also been helpful. It's been like a training tool for me to learn what things mean. So different things that I see. So I'm learning what they mean as I see them. And so it also opens up research for me, and word studies, or just hyper focusing on the thing and really figuring out what it is that God is trying to tell me in that moment from whatever it is that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the reality. Nobody has to be ignorant that the Lord is unlocking. It is not like, I don't, and so I'm just going to draw, I'm not going to pay no attention to it. No, it makes you more of a student of God. Even like she said, engaging in word studies and tapping in and pulling all these things apart. Hey, Claude, and hey, Kevin Cunningham, good to see y'all on here. But it helps you to kind of to give revelation. And one of the things I do know is that what you receive from the Lord, you're going to need it. Somebody else is going to need it. So the understanding of what it is that God to is so vitally important, okay? Vital. Through our drawing class, not only will you learn the skills to do abstract drawings and pictures and even get into painting and colors and all of the above and talk about that. I know you are very key when it comes down to colors. I know you like yellow, as y'all can see in her background. She loves theme for yellow. But also too in classes you talk about the meaning of just what it means naturally, but also revelatory around means with certain colors and including that in the image of the pictures. Can you share a little more about what you will be tapping into in that?
Sure. So it that particular section is called color theory. And so it's basically like you said, the meaning of colors, what they mean. And so I'll just use the story of why I love yellow so much as an example. So I was at an event. I was with you actually, and we were kind of just talking and stuff like that. And I had been drawn to the color yellow for I think like a week or two, even before then. But I didn't know why. I'm like, oh, that's yellow. That's so cool. It's so pretty. And stuff like that. And we were having a conversation. And I was talking to Ariane, shout out to Ariane, about like, what you had said in the conversation. We were all just having a conversation. And she was like, the Lord said, the reason why you've been drawn to the color yellow is because he's highlighting things to you. It was something along those lines. And so in that moment, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't expect that. It was just the color. But colors really do matter and they do mean something. And so ever since then, I have had this thing for the color yellow because God used it to highlight things in my life. He used it to highlight things that he wanted me to do or things that he wanted me to work on or things that he wanted me to fix and stuff like that. And so overall, colors matter, but also the color yellow is it usually represents like the sun. There's sunflowers that are yellow. Like it depends on where you see the color or what you see the color in. And so it's generally recognized as like bright or happiness or something like that. And so just knowing that adds a whole nother level of depth to
The
your art,
meaning.
especially
Yeah.
if you're like painting. Yeah, it adds to the meaning, especially if you're like drawing and you don't just sketch it, but you add color to your drawings. And then also if you paint and you add certain colors to your painting, it depends. It'll let you know whether it pops or not. It'll show you like compare and contrast and what the artist was trying to show you versus what you see. And then it can also let you know like your perception of things. And so
Mm.
yeah,
And
colors matter.
that's a big thing because see one thing, understand then when you learn the end about particular color, the meanings could be so much. We see this all the time. God was very specific down to the makeup of what we know as the he was very specific about his colors and all the put in place. And sometimes we don't pay attention to colors, but those colors help us to understand the full message around what God is actually doing. And so God will specifically use artists to articulate to a world his message of truth where they won't be able to understand it. Sometimes they can't understand the message or something to the message or something pops out of that picture. And one of the things I believe, because we're around a lot of creatives, but not only that, around a lot of creatives who are prophetic, we thought that this class would appropriate to sharpening those skills, especially when it comes down to seers and even dreamers.
Mhm.
Because having certain colors highlighted, certain senses highlighted dreams is a part of the full message. As dismiss, it is something that God is using to grab
Mhm.
your attention. And so tapping into all of those different things, sharpening so that you can actually make impact with the message is something that I believe is so important. We have not spent time doing so. So the institute is designed to keep you empowered in that, so you can be intentional about all of the things makes you sensitive to, or all of using to kind of grab your attention, share a message with you, but also to refresh your life as a whole. And so we use this creative art, the drawing class, to help you tap into making those pictures and things of that nature. Let's talk about the abstract drawings. I know that's one of the expressions that you're going to tap into with this class. Can you dive a little bit more into the abstract drawing? You know what? Just share about the class as a whole. Just like what you're going to teach in the class as a whole.
Okay. So abstract is one of the areas in the course. There's also like the history of drawing, um, what is drawing, and then what is art, because there is a difference. Art drawing is a medium of art, but it's not art itself. There's a difference. There's the history of colors, why colors matter, color theory, the psychology of colors. Um,
Oh, Leah is mastered. Okay, she has a master's degree in psychology. So I didn't.
mhm.
Yeah, I forgot. My bad. So there was a method to, needless to say.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Sorry.
We talk about lines, dexterity, hand control, symmetry, shapes, uh, asymmetry, and shapes. And dimensions, shapes and dimensions. And that's kind of the way it is. But the way the course is set up, there is a course where you learn about one of those areas, and then there's always a free time at the end of the class where we'll do like a drawing activity. Because the best way to learn how to draw is to just do it. Um, so the first class is art and what is art, but then after that, there's like a lab. You could call it like a lab, where it'll be mostly discussion and activity, and so there'll be different like drawing activities that we'll do. Starting from easy, then going to more difficult, of course. And then at the end of the course, you'll have a portfolio that'll be reviewed by me. And it's not necessarily graded on how well you can draw, but it's graded on effort. It's graded on if you tried or not, your creativity, if you actually tapped into your creativity, um, whether or not you put into use what we talked about, that week in class and things of that nature. So it's really great. I'm excited about it. And so, like I said, the best way to learn how to draw is to just do it. Like a lot of people think, oh, I can't draw. I can't even draw a straight line. Well, honestly, I probably couldn't either. But you learn to be okay with those imperfections. You learn to be okay with those imperfections, and it's okay, and that adds to the creativity, especially if you're doing abstract art, because there is no set form that it has to be, and that's where your creativity blooms even further, because you can look at an abstract piece and see something, and every person that looks at it will see something different and will have a different perspective.
Yeah, and if anybody knows me, they know I love stuff like that, because you can get 5 million different perspectives
Yep.
from just one drawing based off of what is dealing with within that hour, or even what the Lord may get to you as far as understanding and things. I love just the free when it comes down to creativity in that capacity, and I think that it's beneficial As a matter of fact, that it is beneficial, especially in communication with your children. And that's one of the things that, we've been a lot about drawing. And even though some of the basic, some adults may not, may have an inkling. I have even sharpened this skill because it's like, oh, just drawing. But the reality is God is going to use that avenue, man. He's going to use that avenue to help you release the message of the Lord. And some of y'all, you may not be, able to publicly, you may stand before people and speak publicly, but you can give a whole message. And I believe that there is a people God is going to minister to through your drawing. What about the deaf? What about those that they should still be able to receive the message of Jesus Christ, should still be able to see about the kingdom, because we have artists that are stepping up to the plate and that are actually taking their skill as a tool to help advance the kingdom. That's why we have the drawing class here at the ReFresh Institute, and we're so excited about it. I don't draw with a straight line. Everything is crooked. Okay. Everything I do, I'm telling you, my lines be crooked, slant, everything. It asked me to put up a picture, it's probably gonna be in the set. Just like but I just know that it works when it needs to work. And I'm really excited. I do know that God is going to use various to get his message across in various ways. And here at the ReFresh Institute, we want to do our part to help empower you and to inspire your creativity and to allow your message to come across to truly impact the world. So we have these classes available for youth and adults. And we're excited about offering a class for this semester here at the ReFresh Institute. So you can go and register today. You can go and enroll www.refreshglobalnfp.org. Tamia, did you want to share anything else about your class moving forward for this spring semester?
Register, because I'm excited to teach you. Okay. So go register.
Go. Mastered. When I say mastered, you got 2 masters, right?
I got 1 master's and a bachelor's.
Oh, she's mastered psychology piece, and that is incorporated in our drawing class, as well as the sharpening of your gifts, whether you are a seer or a dreamer, and being able to articulate that is all incorporated in this drawing class as well. So we connect those basic skills to your kingdom grace to help push you forward so that you can continue to be the best you in the earth. So thank you so much to time to hang out today and to share about your class. We really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
All right, so y'all go ahead and register. Go ahead and register for the classes. Again, like I shared, different classes in worship, arts, and drawing, music theory, piano, percussion and drums, vocals, songwriting, and I'm excited to talk about some of the classes that we're going to have offered too in the fall. And even on our worship arts side, we have foundations of worship. We have a different priest session, psalmistry, minstrelship, and worship leadership. And so next year we'll also be launching more and more classes, but we're super for this spring semester. All right, officially ends today. Register and be a part of the spring semester. Go ahead and website at www.freshglobal.org. To me, you don't have to stay on this on IG if you don't want to. Okay. So you can go today on our website at www.refreshglobalnfp.org. is the last day to enroll for our spring semester. Every time we do this live, we are getting more and more scholars that are coming to be empowered in their purpose. And we want to share that same avenue, that same spacing with you. We want to be, again, like we said in day one, speak to the mandate that's on your life, not just the tools, not just the gifts, the talents and the graces, to the mandate that's on life. And through our courses, through the ReFresh arts, the worship arts, the creative arts academy, and even our speak to who you are. Our life also too, she figured it out. Our life verses too, we also tap into your identity different and how to accept that life. And I can tell you about that, but y'all just have to go and check the apps about those courses. The charge that is on to empower as a kingdom individual, to empower you as a son and daughter of God. ReFreshGlobalNFP.org. We're here to empower and to refresh you in your purpose and in your grace. And for it. So thank you so much for joining us for our Rush Week and even the final. Excited about what we have to offer and all in have to serve for the spring semester. Don't miss out. I want to see you in the virtual classroom. For those who've actually are online, you do not have to be in person for these classes. They are online. Yes, they are online, and we have them readily available with each and every one and to sharpen you as a whole. So we love you so much. Thank you for joining us for our Rush on the ReFresh Institute. And see y'all. For those of you all and joining me, you do know on Monday I'm going live with More Than Meets with God. So I can't wait to see you guys on Monday morning at 7 a.m. Standard Time as we engage in a time of devotion with time. Join us here at the ReFresh Institute for our client, empower and refresh you in your purpose. I love y'all so much, and I look forward to seeing y'all and chatting with y'all real soon.